Good evening, you're watching Awani Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. The government has no plans to peg the ringgit or impose exchange rate controls, similar to what was done during the Asian financial crisis. Deputy Finance Minister Stephen Sims said the country's economy and financial system are now in a better position to face the fluctuations in the global financial markets and exchange rate. Sims said Malaysia would risk losing its monetary policy independence if it decides to peg the ringgit.
Malaysia akan hilang kebebasan dasar monetary dan perlu mengikut kadar faedah mata wang yang menambat ringgit. Contohnya jika ringgit ditambat dengan dolar Amerika, kita perlu menaikkan faedah selari dengan kadar faedah di Amerika Syarikat, dan tindakan ini sudah tentu akan memberikan tekanan kepada kos pembiayaan yang lebih tinggi kepada rakyat.
He added to maintain the pegged currency, Malaysia will either need huge international reserves or to reintroduce capital control measures, which can negatively impact investor confidence and capital flow. During the 1998 Asian financial crisis, Malaysia imposed capital controls and pegged the ringgit at 3 ringgit 80 cent to the US dollar. It was eventually removed in 2005. The Netherlands has agreed to support Malaysia at the second meeting on the European Union's Deforestation-Free Products Regulation EUDR this December. This follows a meeting between Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, who is in Malaysia for a two-day working visit. Fadillah, who is also the Plantation and Commodities Minister, said the two discussed how Netherlands could provide rationales and best solutions to the issue. This includes how the EU could recognise the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil MSPO certification scheme, made mandatory for the entire palm oil production sector. Fadillah added that he hoped the EU would also recognise the MPSO as an EUDR audit process in the meeting. The Netherlands is the largest importer of Malaysian palm oil among the EU countries. Earlier today, Rutte had met with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim at Seri Perdana for bilateral talks. A discount card for eateries providing menu Rahmah meals will be introduced tomorrow. The Acting Minister of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living, Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali, says the incentive will help food operators to purchase raw materials at cheaper prices.
Besok kita akan turun, saya akan turun bersama dengan Timbalan Menteri. Salah satu lagi inisiatif terbaru, kita akan menawarkan kad diskaun Rahmah kepada pengusaha-pengusaha kafe, restoran Rahmah sebagai insentif kepada mereka yang telah support usaha kerajaan selama ini. Dengan adanya kad diskaun ini, para pengusaha-pengusaha kafe Rahmah, menu Rahmah ini boleh mendapat membeli pada kadar diskaun di 6 pasaraya yang bekerjasama dengan kita. InsyaAllah kita akan perkasakan lagi program PJR ini.
He said relevant eatery operators can purchase the discount card at 6 selected supermarkets. Almost 30% of children in Malaysia suffer from stunted growth caused by unhealthy diets. Deputy Health Minister Lukanis Manawang Sauni said one of the contributing factors is the high cost of living, with many opting for cheaper and less nutritional food.
Dan juga saya kadang-kadang agak bimbang dengan keadaan harga kos kehidupan yang semakin meningkat, seperti harga beras, harga barang-barang keperluan yang mempunyai nutrisi ini, harganya meningkat. Ini akan menyebabkan ibu bapa memilih untuk mendapatkan pemakanan yang murah, dan juga ibu-ibu yang sedang hamil juga tidak mengambil nutrisi yang terbaik bagi memastikan anak yang lahir dapat lahir dengan sihat dan tidak terbantut.
According to Lukanisman, Kelantan and Putrajaya had among the highest ratio of children with stunted growth. He said based on the data, the problem can be seen affecting not only the B40 group, but also those with higher incomes.
Golongan-golongan ini mengambil langkah yang mudah kerana kesibukan dan juga pembinaan kerjaya yang lebih meluas. Pemilihan makanan itu sentiasa untuk fast food diberikan kepada kanak-kanak ini. Ini menyebabkan masalah terbantut itu berlaku.
Those suffering from stunted growth are more at risk of developing non-communicable diseases like obesity, he said. Lukan Isman stressed that the government is taking a holistic inter-ministry approach to tackle the issue through the Special Committee to Combat the Double Burden of Malnutrition Among Children, chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. More than 4,500 cases of bullying have been recorded as of October this year. According to Deputy Education Minister Lim Hui Ying, this is an increase from 3,887 cases last year and 326 cases in 2021.
Semua kes ini siasatan telah dijalankan siasatan dan tindakan susulan telah diambil, terutamanya dari segi bimbingan dan kaunseling. Dari segi seperti saya telah sebutkan tadi, kes buli ini atau gejala sosial ini melibatkan banyak pihak, bukan hanya daripada ibu bapa, NGO juga kita amat memerlukan libatan daripada NGO, daripada komuniti setempat. Tujuan kami memang adalah untuk memastikan kes buli dapat dikurangkan dan terutamanya pembuli itu dengan mangsa buli itu akan diberi bimbingan yang sewajarnya.
Lim said the government plans to increase the number of guidance and counselling teachers if bullying at schools continue to persist and show a rising trend. According to her, the Education Ministry has launched a guideline on managing misconduct at schools, which includes bullying. A complaint portal was also set up to allow students, parents and other members at schools to file reports directly with the ministry. Meanwhile, police in Johor have detected secret societies actively recruiting secondary school students to join their groups. State Police Chief Datuk Kamarul Zaman Mahmat says the recruited students are believed to be involved in criminal activities, including drug trafficking. He said authorities recently received 2 reports of students being beaten and forced to join 2 different secret societies. A total of 6 men involved in the case were charged on 17 October under Article 323 of the Penal Code and Article 45 of the Organisation Act 1966. The groups are believed to be targeting students in urban areas. Kamarul Zaman urged teachers and parents to remain vigilant of such incidents in their vicinity and to inform the police immediately. We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Apa jua yang berlaku di sekeliling kita, pastinya ada punca dan kesan masing-masing. Faktor harga ekonomi, pengaruh politik dalam atau luar negara memberikan impak kepada kehidupan harian kita. Di Niaga Awani kami memberikan gambaran jelas melalui analisis mendalam, merentas pelbagai segmen dan latar belakang. Kami akan bantu anda untuk faham segalanya. Bisnes, ekonomi, pasaran, Niaga Awani, 9 pagi Isnin hingga Jumaat, hanya di Astro Awani.
Welcome back. On to updates in Gaza. An Israeli air attack that hit apartment blocks in the densely populated Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza has killed at least 50 people and wounding 150, with the death toll feared to further rise. Israel said it was targeting a high-ranking Hamas commander who it claims has been killed in the attack. However, Hamas rejected its commander was present. Israeli troops have also pushed deeper into Gaza in its ground invasion, with heavy clashes reported after tanks reached a residential area. Meanwhile, the Rafah border crossing to Egypt opened on Wednesday to allow movement of foreign passport holders and critically injured Palestinians. It was unclear how long the crossing will remain open. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden and his administration have refused to back growing international calls for a ceasefire in Gaza, as he focuses on pushing more aid into the territory. The US said 66 aid trucks had crossed into Gaza on Tuesday. However, fuel continues to be blocked. At the same time, aid distribution is faltering in Gaza due to chronic lack of fuel, choking of streets with rubble from Israeli shelling, and overcrowding of displaced Palestinians. UN Palestinian Refugee Agency's Juliet Thomas says despite an uptick in the trickle of supplies, the number of aid trucks of about 14 daily entering Gaza remains tiny compared to the 400 trucks daily in normal times.
We are also facing challenges with supplies. Supplies that have run out because of the overwhelming need and the distribution, because of the fact that UNRWA continued to distribute from early on, but also because what's coming on these trucks, on this humanitarian convoy, is very, very little. It's only 1% of what Gaza used to bring. So we're asking for an increase in the number of these trucks. We also need fuel in these, on these trucks. We have not received any fuel, not UNRWA, not the whole of Gaza. No fuel has come into Gaza since the 7th of October.
Bolivia has decided to break diplomatic ties with Israel, accusing it of committing crimes against humanity in its attacks on the Gaza Strip. This makes it one of the first countries to actively break diplomatic relations with Israel since the war broke out on October 7th. Deputy Foreign Minister Freddy Mamani said the Bolivian government decided to break diplomatic ties with Israel in condemnation of aggressive and disproportionate Israeli military offensive in Gaza. The South American country only restored diplomatic relations with Israel in 2019, as it had previously cut ties in 2009 under President Evo Morales, again to protest Israel's action in Gaza. Separately, the director of the New York office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Craig Mockbear, left his post in protest over UN's failure in its duty to prevent genocide of Palestinian civilians in Gaza. He said in a written statement on 28 October that this is textbook case of genocide, adding that the US, UK and much of Europe were not only refusing to meet treaty obligations under the Geneva Conventions, but were also arming Israel's assault and providing political and diplomatic cover for it. Over in Australia, residents were ordered to evacuate their homes as dozens of bushfires burned across the northern state of Queensland. Firefighters, including those flown in from across Australia and New Zealand, continue to battle the blaze that have already claimed 2 lives and destroyed several homes. About 45 properties have been damaged over the past week, many in the town of Tara, where the fire began burning weeks ago. Queensland Rural Fire Brigades Association described the state as being in survival mode, with 3 large bushfires reaching emergency level. Much of Queensland also remains under a total fire ban until at least Friday. It comes as severe thunderstorm develops near fire zones in the southeast, bringing damaging winds and large hailstones. The blaze in the area have also affected the neighbouring state of New South Wales. Meanwhile, in China, heavy smoke enveloped the Chinese capital Beijing on Wednesday, a day after authorities issued their highest warnings for fog and haze in major northern cities. Visibility in most parts of Beijing has dropped to less than 500 meters, while some parts of Hebei province and Tianjin city, it was less than 50 meters. According to the Environment Ministry, moderate to heavy air pollution was expected in the northern and surrounding cities until Thursday. It said while conditions in these areas will then improve in the first half of this month, pollution may persist in southern areas. Experts said weak cold air currents from the North Pole were a key factor behind the unexpected weather. Many cities are experiencing unusually mild winter temperatures similar to early summer, with some places recording 10 degrees Celsius above normal. That wraps up our Money Tonight. I'm Fana Shea. Thank you for watching.